You find yourself lost in Irvingland.
Your destination is the planet Chroma. Your mission is the total destruction of that planet.
Whoa, what'd they ever do to you? The machine says they have to do it within one rotation of the planet, which is to say, a day.
The planet Chroma has developed an irregular orbital path which threatens to send it on a collision course with us.
I can see how you'd want to avoid that, but what about the people who live there? What do you figure to do about them?
You are not listening. Our screens indicate that there is a small colony of Earth creatures inhabiting the planet Chroma. They will be notified to evacuate the planet before your arrival.
I might have guessed. The Robinsons have a knack for finding uninhabited planets.
Looks like we're ready for a power check.
Okay, power on.
And getting stranded on them. While they're trying to fix the ship so they can get out of here, the weather patterns and everything else are getting more and more erratic. Just like the first planet they landed on back in Season 1 that blew up in the first episode of Season 2. Is this planet also hollow with half a dozen civilizations living underground? We won't find out.
Are there any questions?
I have one. Why us?
Yeah, why us?
You have been a useless burden on our civilization too long. Mount your vehicles at once if you wish to live.
By this time, the show had addressed a lot of matters and issues related to life in the 60s, including colonization, mutually assured destruction, militarization, racism, and a host of others. But a phenomenon had been developing in America over the decade that nobody saw coming, and when you get right down to it, that movement helped transform the country. I'm talking about the hippies. I never seriously thought about joining them myself, but I could appreciate their goals. Love for one another, acceptance, peace on earth. Tell the armies of the planet to stand down and stand together instead of killing each other. All terrific goals. Both the hippies in the West and the yippies in the East promoted all these goals. If it had been just another anti-war movement, not many people in authority would have noticed. But the hippies also believed in free love. If it feels good, do it. Today we call it polyamory because, as we know, more syllables is always better. The open, carefree attitude about sex was too much for the old folks, and the hippies became evil. Thing is, we all have a limited lifespan, and the hippies were much, much younger than their critics. While they were trying the latest psychedelic drug on the market, something called LSD, and going to jail for refusing to be drafted, the establishment was slowly but surely dying off. The hippies knew that and played the long game, and as a result, we can still see their influence today. Remember what I said about polyamory? It's become a valid way of life for some people. But guess what? If not for the hippies, you wouldn't be able to do that openly. Greater society would crush you. If you do polyamory, or just want the world to learn how to live in peace, or both, thank the hippies. Like this machine that orders those guys around, the society they lived in called them worthless, parasites and leeches who didn't contribute anything. Except they did. They exposed a lot of the rottenness and duplicity surrounding Vietnam. They got in a country's racist face and said that is just wrong, and convinced the majority of the country that they were right. They protested mightily against the Vietnam War and ultimately forced Nixon to get us out of there. You don't have to punch a time clock to be a productive member of society. Sometimes all you have to do is make society take a hard, impartial, critical look at itself.
You heard the master.
Future citizens,
We're too young to die.
And like everyone else in the universe except Earthlings, they travel by Irwin Allen Kaboom.
All inhabitants of the planet Chroma, listen to this message. Inhabitants of the planet Chroma are ordered to evacuate the planet without delay. Repeat, you will evacuate the planet at once.
John, whose voice is that?
Well, Well, whoever it was, he picked a fine time to warn us.
That's something else everybody in the universe knows how to do except us. Everyone agrees that leaving this unstable chunk of disaster is a good idea, but that announcement assumes a few things. For one thing, it assumes they know someone else's name for this planet is Chroma. More important, they assume the crew can evacuate. Right now, they can't.
Propulsion unit out. Fuel supply practically zero.
I know Star Trek Voyager took place in a whole different universe and all that, but I think the Robinsons are at a point where they need to consider Seska's idea, start making some friends. Make some alliances of some kind. Make enough friends that you can find some way to trade for a better engine. This one's about as reliable as Tacoma weather.
Dude, what are you talking about? Tacoma weather is... Well, put it this way. If you don't like it, wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
Precisely my point.
Huh?
Never mind. It'll take them a good week to fix the ship and dig enough fuel to blast off.
We must work night and day until the job is done.
Well, I'm glad you said we, Smith. You're elected to the drill site division. Let's see, your quarter, 12 cans of fuel, daily.
15.
15.
15 canisters of deuteronium fuel. Sorry, I got carried away. ADD brains do a lot of free association like that. And Smith realized as he opened his big mouth again.
We've got visitors.
Well, on this unpredictable planet, where are they?
About 20 miles north of here.
Dad, do you think they're the ones who sent us that warning?
Not exactly, but they work for the same outfit. That was obviously a detonation, so John and Don will take the space pod, go find these folks, and try to get more information. At the drill site, Smith is taking a break as usual. In point of actual fact, his entire workday consists of an extended break, but that's not important right now. The robot has detected an object falling from the sky.
Maybe it's supplies for those people that Dad went to see. But if it is, it sure is off course. Dad located them in that direction.
I wonder what sort of supplies they could be.
No, they're not ours, so it's none of our business.
How can you be sure they're not ours? Isn't it possible that Earth has finally located us and is sending us a message of hope?
Yes, all this stuff, including the dire warning and the various explosions going on all over the place, are Earth's way of saying, "We found you." Will is way beyond the point of buying any of Smith's phony excuses for his greed. He knows Smith assumes there's something in the package that he wants, and he'll stop at nothing to get it.
There's no lid, and it seems to be all of one piece. How could they do this to me?
What does any of this have to do with you? There's no hinge, latch, or other mechanism for opening and closing it, so they must have done that just to frustrate Zachary Smith. I'll admit that's kind of entertaining, but we have important stuff going on here.
Dr. Smith, if it were from Earth, it would have insignia on it. Now I'll call Dad and tell him where we found it, and he can tell the owners.
No need to hurry, dear boy.
Oh, yes, there is. We have to get up to the drill site.
If it is indeed the property of others, we would be very remiss in our duty if we did not inform them of the condition of the contents.
It's so heavy he can't even move it on the sand, much less pick it up. He tells the robot to help him.
It is my considered opinion, Dr. Smith, that we should not attempt to open this container.
Indeed? And why not, pray?
My sensors indicate that the contents are composed of rare and priceless elements, which are of great value to the owners, but may be dangerous to terrestrial life forms.
Priceless, did you say?
That's the only word that registered with him. By now, the robot should know better than to use terms like that. If he had gone with volatile and dangerous instead of rare and priceless and all the rest, we might not have had to endure what happens next. He forces the robot to blast a hole in it so he can try and see what's inside that he might be able to steal, inform the owners about.
Dr. Smith, you... Dr. Smith? Dr. Smith! Dr. Smith!
He's not breathing, there's no pulse and no heartbeat. Zachary Smith's greed finally killed him. That took long enough. Will doesn't know what to do. CPR hadn't been developed yet in the real world, and TV producers and writers had no way to predict such a thing, so in this world it never happened. And now another storm has come up that's interfering with the radio, so he can't even tell someone about it. The only witnesses to the demise of the great Zachary Smith are the child he constantly lied to and betrayed, and the robot he treated like crap. Those two are his only friends.
Why couldn't Dr. Smith have waited? Why did he have to be so curious? Why couldn't he have just...
Do you wish me to prepare a 6-foot trench for Dr. Smith while we are waiting to communicate with Professor Robinson?
Robot, it's just shock. He'll come out of it. And besides, why do you have to be so practical?
And they can't even commiserate properly. I definitely hope I have a better legacy than that. John and Don are still looking for their new arrivals, but they might want to look somewhere else. Like someplace where that isn't happening.
Least they could have done was give us a warning.
They did, remember?
All right, but it still doesn't give them the right to kill us off.
Don, follow that giggle.
Why don't you say something pretty?
That wasn't very nice.
He's right. Don is definitely going into this meeting with an attitude. Then again, so is John.
We'd like to know why you're here and what these detonations are all about. You could have been killed.
Killed? Oh, that would have been regrettable. Our master would have been very unhappy. Weren't you notified?
If you mean, did we get a message to evacuate the planet? Yes.
Then why are you still here?
Our ship needs repairs.
Oh, well, that's different.
Oh, his ship needs repair. Oh, ship all broken. All brokey ship. Well, that is very unfortunate, because this planet is not going to last long.
How long?
Or maybe these future citizens don't care.
Our mission is the total destruction of this planet within a time pulse of one diurnal rotation. This planet has developed an irregular orbital path, which threatens to send it on a path of collision with us.
I'm sure the masters appreciate how they're taking the whole thing seriously. John says we need at least a week to fix our ship. Our group essentially says, well, been nice knowing you.
All you have is this much.
Well, it's impossible. We can't fix the ship in half a day.
No?
No, forget it.
Oh, he hurt my shoulder.
Not helping, Don.
Oh, why did he do that?
Why don't you try to be nice?
Cut it out.
You be nice when she talks to you, little master.
I don't know what he thinks he's accomplishing with all that. She already told him he might get more results by being nice. But we know what's really going on. He's afraid Judy might see him in close contact with another woman and she'd beat him up for it.
How could they have sent you? What kind of people are you, anyway?
Tell the little master.
Our master says we have been a useless burden on our civilization for too long. Our future as citizens will depend on the effectiveness of our mission.
If she looks familiar, you're probably a subscriber. And if you aren't, why aren't you? We've seen her before on this channel. Who remembers Varda, the alien woman who invaded Britt Reed's house in the Green Hornet? Or if you missed that, I suggest you go watch my reviews of this series as soon as you finish this video. But if GH isn't your thing, how about Batman? She was Riddler's girlfriend Moth in the Ring of Wax story in Season 1. Her real name is Linda Gay Scott, though sometimes she didn't use her middle name. She appeared in some movies and some other TV shows in the 60s and 70s, but never really hit it big. So in 1983, she quit acting and went into real estate, whereupon she disappeared from the public eye. I hope that means she lived happily ever after. And she must have had a lot of fun with this role.
This planet must be destroyed quickly and effectively.
Well, that's murder. And I won't let you get away with it.
No.
No.
Why did you let him push that button? If he's so eager to push it, the best thing to do is take it away from him. And since they can do that and you can't, good luck stopping them from completing their mission. Will still can't contact anybody, so he and the robot are just hanging out near Smith's body.
I don't know what we're gonna do without him, Robot. I miss him.
Likewise, Will Robinson. Despite his failings, Dr. Smith was a man of tireless scientific curiosity. The search to satisfy his inner craving for triumphant discoveries was an inspiration to us. He was a man whose memory will always be cherished by those of us who...
I'm not surprised that all that drew a lightning bolt. We are talking about Zachary Smith, yes? The only scientific curiosity he had was how to multiply the almighty dollar and stuff all the results into his pockets. He may well have been the most selfish person in the universe, and more than once he betrayed both of you and nearly got you destroyed because he thought he might gain something out of the effort. I've never understood the whole issue about speaking ill of the dead. Dr. Smith was a horrible person in every way. What's the point of whitewashing that fact just because he's dead? There are lots of theories about why it's such a taboo, and they're all speculation. Aristotle said it was because if you degraded the person's actions in this life, it affected their status in the afterlife. Others say it's just for the sake of the bereaved who would like to think the best of their loved one. I think it goes deeper than that. I think it's a carryover from the times when people believed that the spirits of the dead still hung around. If you spoke evil of a dead person, their spirit might get angry and start hassling you. I think it stems more from fear than respect. And 1,000 years or so later, when we know better, we're still afraid of it. Nobody has that worry about Dr. Smith. He was a being of almost pure selfish evil, and frankly, they're better off without him. Now that he's dead, maybe someone else can get a little screen time, like Maureen, or Penny, or Judy.
William? What are you doing?
Dr. Smith, you're alive.
Of course I'm alive. Do I look like a corpse?
No, but your hair, it's...
It is sour apple green, Will Robinson.
Sour apple green? Are you colorblind as well as blubber-brained?
You knew it was too good to be true. Not only is his hair green and curly, he's a mass of bulging muscles, and his voice sounds like he's constantly using a megaphone. He's always been a bombastic idiot. Now he has the vocal volume to go with it.
That is an impossibility.
Stand aside! Forward! March!
But what about our fuel quota?
Noblesse oblige always comes first, William.
Noblesse oblige is an old French expression that means with great power comes great responsibility. Well, not exactly. Basically, it means if you have the means to help someone, you have an obligation to do so. But the owners of this thing don't need his help. This thing has nothing at all to do with him or any other member of the crew. He's still hoping to get his hands on those priceless elements the robot mentioned. He probably intends to sell them back to the owners.
Now who put this pebble here?
He can't walk around it, you understand. His thigh muscles are so huge he can only walk in a straight line. If he needs to turn, the robot has to pick him up and readjust his course.
Dr. Smith, what happened to your hair?
Good heavens, nothing's happened to my hair.
Of course it has. It's been dyed green.
Dyed green indeed. Have you all suddenly become colorblind?
I'll show you. Look.
Dyed green, my foot. I suggest you all have your eyes examined.
Everyone can see my hair is gray, just like my face and my uniform, and the ship, and everything else in the world. You must be colorblind if you think such a thing as green exists.
Don, I wouldn't fool with Dr. Smith right now if I were you. I don't think he knows his own strength.
No fooling.
Please remove yourself.
Remove myself. How would you like to try to make me?
Why, certainly.
Dr. Smith! I warned you, Don.
Nobody in this bunch ever listens to Will, even though he's most often the one on the forefront of things who actually knows what's going on.
What happened to you? And where'd this box come from?
Well, it came down on a parachute, Dad.
A parachute, Will?
And Dr. Smith tried to look inside, but it blacked him out. And when he came to, well, Well, look at him.
Okay, John and Maureen are listening, and they understand what Will is saying. Smith went screwing around with something alien again with unpredictable results. So, just another day in space.
Put it down, Smith.
Professor, are you going to trifle with me too?
Put it down.
Very well, Professor. I shall put it down, but only in the interests of harmony. And you all?
My suggestion, fix the ship and let him leave with the hippies. Speaking of whom, they just arrived at the drop site. That box has the last of their demolition materials.
When we blow that lot, we'll be useful citizens of our planet. Express your joy!
Whee!
All right, let's get it over with.
When I was watching this to review it, I knew he looked awfully familiar. What fooled me was how young he is. He'd been knocking around Hollywood since 1958, doing one-shot parts like this and not really making it big. Then in 1981, Stephen Bochco tapped him to play one of the lead characters in a brand new police drama, and he became a household name. That's Daniel J. Travanti, better known to an entire generation as Captain Frank Furillo, the man in charge on Hill Street Blues.
It's gone.
Very good. Brilliant. She noticed it's gone.
Great. If she starts thinking, we're really in trouble.
Oh, what do you know?
All right, knock it off.
That's a giant diamond he's playing with, by the way. It'll never come into play because Smith will never catch sight of it, so it's pointless. You see it and think it's going to cause some conflict, and then nothing happens. Kind of like your average speech in Congress.
Somebody has been very unfriendly to our mission.
Maybe the two who wouldn't talk pretty?
Oh. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get them.
Considering there's 7 people on this planet, the list of suspects does tend to be pretty small. In fact, you can narrow it down to 1, and they found him.
A very pretty sight. Must be the father. What do you think you're doing with that box, old master?
Opening it for detailed inspection.
The questions are, is there anything valuable in here, and may I steal it? They can't seem to stop him. He's too strong.
The old master is not very sensible. He's trying to deprive us of our right to be useful citizens. That's quite a throw there you got, old master. Would you like to try it again? Just with me?
Where are your manners? Can't you see I'm busy?
Yeah, you're busy trying to break into their box. Tell me more about these manners of which you speak.
Please. Just once.
Very well, if you insist.
There's always somebody stronger than you. There's always somebody smarter than you. There's always somebody with more insight than you. There's always somebody who's going to be better than you at whatever it is you put your hands to. And you know what? As long as you're not trying to infringe on them, you're just doing your own personal best, that's okay. If you're Zachary Smith, you never heard of those concepts, so if you're not number 1, your entire little world comes crashing down. Like your body just did. He's going to feel that for the rest of the diurnal rotation.
My strength. My beautiful strength. Where has it gone?
I'm going to say your body has finished metabolizing the gas. In other words, it wore off. And I don't think they're going to let you have another snootful. And apparently John was being overly pessimistic when he said they needed 6 to 7 days for repairs. They're finished now. All they need is enough fuel to take off. On to the drill site. Let's see what we can do.
I have computed that all your strength came from your hair.
His name is Zachary, not Samson. And Samson was ancient Middle Eastern, so I doubt his hair was green. The robot is having some fun with him, telling him a round of vigorous exercise will restore his hair and his strength.
Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now a little running in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I cannot go on. I shall never survive.
Deep breathing exercise begin. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out.
Keep it up, Dr. Smith. I'm sure you'll feel better in a little while.
The only reason he's doing this is because Penny is watching. We've seen it over the course of the show. For some reason, he values the children's opinion of him more than anybody else's.
The pain. The pain.
You've done it, Dr. Smith. You've got your green hair back.
I don't think the robot saw that coming.
Never fear, Smith is here. I am Smith the Mighty, the strongest man in the universe.
That's why the other guy threw you like a sack of potatoes, right?
William, do you happen to know the contents of the box? Sorry, William.
That's all right. It's demolition material. And when you get it back, we'll be able to delay the destruction of this planet.
When I get it back, and you did say demolition material.
I am Smith the Mighty! Oh dear, must I carry those dangerous materials?
Just imitate the actions of the tiger like you're always saying.
Yes, the actions of the tiger.
Actions of the Tigger, you said? Wow. The robot will lead them to the hippies, but John got there first. He's decided to talk to them alone and unarmed in hopes they'll listen to reason.
Your turn.
I drilled already.
So drill again.
Ain't you gonna do nothing?
Yeah, I'll do something.
All right, I'll drill.
For as much as she's strumming that guitar, there's not a whole lot coming out of it. And you can tell their society doesn't think much of them. They got assigned the world's slowest jackhammer. Remember what a difficult time Smith had trying to open the box? Turns out all he needed was a frog medallion. Their explosive looks like a bottle of dish soap and they pour it directly into the hole.
Hold it.
Well, little master, you haven't left yet. Very dangerous.
If you'd waited an hour, we'd have been out of here.
Delay the project? Our controller would never forgive that.
John decides to try diplomacy.
Why didn't you ask him?
Oh, no. You don't know him like I do, little master. He's brutal, little master.
Any more brutal than you?
Watch your talk, little master.
Did I say diplomacy? I meant to say dippiness.
Hold it, he's mine.
I think they're saying you can have him. John isn't just holding his own, he's winning. Now we know for sure that they're the villains of this piece. One of the TV tropes you can count on the most is this: when it comes to a fist fight, the bad guy always goes for a weapon first, or has an accomplice help him, or otherwise finds a way to cheat like this. I've said it since I was about 14. Bad guy always goes for a weapon. You can take it to the bank. Sometimes it works for him like this, sometimes it doesn't. It's all subject to the whims of the great master of all, runtime. And now they should be in trouble because he dumped one of their bottles of demolition juice all over the ground trying to hit John with it. So it's possible they don't have enough to complete the mission.
Let's go.
I guess he thinks it's enough, and for sure it's enough to blow John to bits. Nice of him to just leave him there. Don't worry, he'll wake up and get to cover just in time, as you knew he would.
Are you sure they're skulking in there?
Affirmative.
Come out, you sniveling cowards! Come out! One at a time, or all together! Come out! I dare you! There, you see? They're afraid.
I don't think that's who he expected.
thrilling voice you have, Master. It really turns me on.
Why, not at all, madam. I always like to please the ladies.
What a magnificent head of hair. You must be very strong.
This isn't going as planned.
I'm Zachary Smith. Smith the Mighty, the strongest man in the universe.
How frightening. How deliciously scary you make me feel.
Where are they, those skulking cowards?
Skulking, sir. You have scared all the fight out of them. Come, see.
She puts a string of beads around his neck. I don't think there's anything special about him. He's just ready for a leash.
Boy, for someone as strong as Dr. Smith is, he sure has a weak head. I mean, even I could see that girl was just putting him on. I'll go in and get him.
Discretion is the better part of valor, Will Robinson.
Well, I just don't want to see him get mixed up with that girl.
I think it's a little late for that.
Oh. Treachery, thy name is woman.
Oh, poor old master. He got a little hip.
He lost his strength because a woman cut his hair and he's chained between two pillars. He is Samson! Except I don't see him being willing to bring the whole place down on his own head to defeat the bad guys. They cuff everybody together, including the robot, then head off to plant their last two charges. At the ship, they can't raise Will on the radio, so John and Don will go find him. They have a fair idea where to look, and if things get too hairy, he'll give the order and Maureen is to lift off without them. In the cave, the robot says, let's try some heavy exercise again and see if it restores your strength.
In, out, in, out.
I'm beginning to feel my strength returning.
Keep it up, Dr. Smith. In, out, in, out.
This time, the robot even has an explanation for it.
Your deep breathing exercises undoubtedly revive the alien fumes which are still trapped in your lungs.
Because that's exactly how human lungs work, if you have emphysema.
Warning, warning! I have reason to believe we are being pursued. We must hurry.
I don't know why he's still lugging that box around. It should be empty by now, and he doesn't have a frog necklace to open it with anyway.
Oh, good heavens. I fear my strength is failing me.
Dr. Smith, what happened?
Oh, good heavens, what a strange feeling.
Good, get back to the ship. Nope, he's infected Will now, so they're still fiddling with an empty, unopenable box.
How nice to see you again, dear sir.
He tells the others, start drilling right here.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Dad!
He's been asking for 1 hour. As slow as those drills go, if he and the others head back to the ship now, they just might have that hour and more.
I'm afraid it's too late to prevent that now, little master.
I'm going to ask you to listen to reason for the last time.
Why?
Smith, get Will out of the way.
That's more like it.
Oh, come on now. You can't hurt us with that. He's too much, that one.
Well, maybe this can hurt you, and maybe it can't.
I don't know what they have that would have protected them from a laser pistol, but whatever it is, they forgot to put some on their bikes.
Why? Why did you do it?
Well, how does it feel, Big Master, to be standing on a planet that's going to explode and no way of getting off?
Oh.
Well, go ahead, give the order. Have them drill those last 2 holes.
Maybe they can drill a few holes big enough to hide in while the planet explodes.
But just remember this, you've got a week's repair work ahead of you.
Oh.
You think this planet will wait that long before it blows? Well, if you need any help, just holler. But you better make it snappy. because we're leaving here in 1 hour.
You might have to take them with you and drop them off at their planet. Those bikes kaboomed pretty good. And I doubt you'd be much help fixing them since humans haven't developed the technology to travel by Irwin Allen explosion yet. Cut to the Jupiter 2 zipping through space. Will has been monitoring the planet's explosion and hopes those guys got away okay. And maybe learned something.
John, blips at 6 o'clock, coming fast.
Get that heap off the road, little masters.
Not let them get away with that, are you?
We can't afford to waste the fuel.
I guess they haven't learned much of a lesson.
It just goes to prove there is nothing you can do with a really dedicated misfit.
And we know where misfits go. YouTube, of course.
If you enjoyed this episode, click the like button and let us know. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you always know what is happening, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. We make sure of it. We control his computer. Until next time.